So we're going to take you for a moment into a focus of attention. Usually we take you into your head. This time we're going to take you someplace else, away from yourself for a moment. We're going to take you, if you can visualize, the center of the ceiling and the center of the room. Just imagine there's a point there. You don't have to look at it. You can if you want to. Imagine there's a point there. There's going to be a collection point for everybody's consciousness to kind of hang out in. And we're not blending consciousness here, so you don't have to worry about anybody's boundaries invading anybody else's. We're just going to all like hang out up there for a little bit, like consciousness cells that are retaining their own integrity but sitting next to each other. If we move our attention out of our body spaces for a while, we can begin to get a feel for what it's like to perceive without so much of the cloaking of the gene code. And then we begin to feel the subtleties that can arise through this process. If we focus our attention on that center of the ceiling in the middle of the room, and then each one of us at our own rate visualize ourselves as a little cell of consciousness. It could be a spark of light, but it's like a little cell with its boundaries around it. It's going to very slowly move from the ceiling point, nice and easily with the breath as you breathe down, exhale, slowly down to the floor. You're going to spend a few minutes just simply breathing without even hearing me talk. You're going to simply put your consciousness up in the little cell, up in the center of the ceiling, and then exhale it slowly down to the floor. And while you do this, I want you to focus on the sensations of vibrational change from the top of the room to the bottom of the room. There will be a distinct shifting and progressive downscaling of vibration. That's how we get up versus down. That's how the illusion translates. So try that for a moment. Breathe gently and then exhale. Feel a spark of consciousness down, slowly down, maybe a third of the way through. And down a little further toward the floor. And then a little further. Sense the frequency spectrum as it's manifesting within the unified field of energy that you're now moving your consciousness through. Once you get a little feel for even a little bit of shifting between your focus at the top of the room and your focus at the bottom, and put your focus of attention down on the bottom, on the floor. And this time use the inhale breath to slowly inhale your focus of attention in its little consciousness cell upward toward the ceiling. This time, you're going to scan from the bottom up. You're going to feel the modulation in the frequencies as you move from the bottom up to the top. If you're able to recall the sensation of the downward, going from the ceiling down, compared to the movement from going from the ground up to the ceiling, you will notice there are two frequency spectra taking place. And what you'll also notice is the top part of the first one is the same as the bottom part of the other one. There are crossovers in the frequencies that are called frequency subharmonics. And it's through the subharmonics that we're going to be able to make a distinction between which part of the hologram we're going to manifest, be it the one that takes us into higher frequency or the one that's a lower spiral that takes us into lower frequency. Now, simply being aware of the fact you're dealing with spectra, wave spectra, in the room, in the unified field, will give you an advantage of being able to identify that wave spectra. This time I want you to move your consciousness to a point in the middle of the wall in the back of the room. Picture everybody's little points of consciousness going flying back to the wall and to the center point, making a little dot on the wall. But we're still separate, we're not merging consciousness. Now use your inhale and draw it back to you. Draw your spark of consciousness back to you slowly on a horizontal plane from the back of the room to the front of the room, slowly again, trying to detect the range of the frequency spectra that's there. On the horizontal plane, you should notice an oscillation that seems to run through the whole spectrum. It's like a bridge frequency that's the most dominant of all. It will be the first and most pronounced thing in frequency you will begin to feel as you do such a scan. When you find that frequency modulation zone, that's the space you need to put your consciousness in to differentiate between the higher and lower frequency field. So using this concept, we're going to bring our attention back into our heads, and we're going to hold in mind the image of a little wave line drawn in energy that represents the frequency modulation zone, the point from which you can perceive both polarities without being caught in either of them. You can envision this in any way that comes natural. It can be envisioned as a horizontal zigzag line. It can be envisioned as a channel, something thicker, or a ribbon of energy. Let it come to you whatever it should look like for you. But know it's a frequency modulation zone, that if you can learn to run this through your pineal gland, in the center of your head, you'll be able to differentiate between the energy signatures that represent the higher and lower portion of the hologram. So hold your image in mind. Hold the image of your frequency modulation zone in mind, right on the inside of your forehead. And then gently use the breath to bring it back into the pineal gland. Once it enters the pineal gland, position a small dot of white light that represents your consciousness in the center. Try to feel its reality there as if it's surrounded by the encasement of this wave pattern that is the frequency modulation zone. Now, from the position within the pineal gland, you're going to use your little spark of white light attention as a projector, just like a movie projector would work. And you're going to use the inside of your forehead as the screen onto which you're going to project an image. The image is going to be in response to a request that you're going to give your eternal self. And that request is going to be, allow me to see now the polarities. Allow me to see now the polarities as they exist in this moment. Once you give that command, either by intention through direct cognition or by using the words, gently breathe and exhale out the little spark of light as if it were a beam coming from a projector of a movie camera. And see it going upon the screen that has been black, but now it is turning into color and light on the inside of your forehead. Notice there is a split right in the middle of the image that's forming, where there's a top half and a bottom half, horizontal plane. On the top half, we'll register a higher frequency pattern, and on the bottom half, a lower frequency pattern. With any moment point, you can take the image of the now as it's held within morphogenetic form, which is the energy that it is about right now. Inhale the energy into your body and project it out onto the screen and get an automatic response of two polarities forming. It'll take a little while to get inner vision on it. First, it will be a sensed feeling of frequency breaking. The sensed feeling of the frequency splitting is all you need to be able to begin sensing in any moment point which is the higher path and which is the lower path, implied by the fact that you are in polarity. Simply by splitting the frequencies, you'll be able to identify the upward spiral and the downward spiral of consciousness, your path of evolution and your path of de-evolution in any moment point. The more you play with this little exercise, the more you will be able to project it later in other exercises, project it along lines of future development as far as setting goals and priorities and what's right for you and what's not right for you, you will be able to use techniques like this as a part of your interior guidance system, a way to have your higher parts communicate with your parts down here, to begin opening the doorways. Now that we've begun frequency modulation a bit, and studying a little bit about the different feelings, the different sensations that are created by the different frequencies, we're going to go on a little journey. And it's a very special journey. This is just the first journey, because before we leave today, we're going to go back even further than this one. But in this one, we're going to go into our point of entry, our fetal integration process. This is a very precious, sacred, and moving memory for most people. And it is also a very painful memory for most people, because many people, when they went into fetal integration, had individuals in the higher dimensional fields whom they were very connected to and loved very much, and they had to leave behind temporarily when they came into integration here. They had more of a connection there with your higher dimensional family of consciousness. So you may, when we go into the memory cells where fetal integration is stored, you may find a sense of relief, but also a sense of tremendous sadness that you, as an incarnating infant consciousness, your consciousness was big, but your body was just small, began to feel the loss of yourself and what that self was connected to, because you knew you couldn't fit all of you into that body right away. And you knew that you would begin to feel distant and distant and distant, till the voices and the whispers of those you held most dear couldn't be heard for a while. You will also remember, and we will take you through several stages of the development of the fetus, and every one of you will have had a little bit different process. Some of you may have come in very, very close to conception within about 33 days, because you cannot come in. You can come into the astral field, but not into the physical field until about at least 33 days before the fetal pattern vibrates fast enough, or actually vibrates slow enough and oscillates fast enough for you to put your higher moving consciousness into it without blowing it apart. But you will each have come in at a different time and a different stage, under a different set of circumstances. Some of those will have been joyful circumstances of the unification of an energy field that was created by two parents who loved each other dearly and felt great joy in each other's presence. For in the cells that will become your fetal pattern will be captured the essence of your parents' coupling. And if it was a coupling of joy, you will feel an imprint of joy as your consciousness began to integrate with it. And if it was an imprint of sorrow or indifference or coldness, you will also feel that, and usually your own resistance to that as an incoming soul. So it will be different for everybody when we go into this process. Some people might feel like crying, or whatever you need to do. Even screaming, if you need to scream, go for it. Might as well, we're all family. They do primal therapy and people release all that stuff, so whatever you need to do, if you start to feel the reality of this fetal process, which you should, once the memory is triggered in the 8 cells, the first 8 cells of creation at the base of your spine, is where that memory is stored. It's stored within the Kundalini spirals that are dormant until you begin activating them. And we're beginning to activate them now. We're beginning to activate them with the DNA work we're doing and with the information we're taking in that triggers the activation of the DNA. So we're going to go on a journey into the base 8 cells. And we're going to find our point of entry. But first we need to know that we're safe to do this. Because here's where you'll find your primal scream for this incarnation. You will find a part of you that reacted simply to the changes from going from consciousness to heavier consciousness that is a biology. Most people don't carry, in this time anyway, do not carry a really joyful fetal integration experience. It's a level of pain, and that's why we're getting to it. Because if you want to heal and you want to find your eternal connection, you need to clear out the pain and work past it and transform it into something else, which you can. So we're going to go on a journey now, and we're going to begin simply by focusing our attention on our pineal gland. And we're going to get into some emotional spaces in this one that we don't usually do in our more technical type of exercises. So to focus your attention in the middle of your head, the pineal gland. And just start to relax the focus for a little bit. We're going to try to slow your focus down now. I want you to really relax this time. I'm not going to rush through this at all. Begin with your feet. As you're putting your consciousness in the pineal, call to mind an image of your feet. And imagine them having a white light run through them. And all of a sudden they become more and more ghost-like until they disappear. Feel the sensation of your feet not being there. Now call to mind, in the middle of your pineal, the image of your legs. And again, imagine white light running through them. And they get less and less dense. You can feel the lightness coming through them. You can feel the particles spreading out. You can feel them becoming more electric. And suddenly, they fade like a mist that dissipates. And your legs aren't there anymore either. Feel the reality of having no legs there, and it being no problem, for you are just consciousness. We'll work up now to the torso. Imagine the white light moving through the entire torso of the body, from the neck all the way down to where the legs have gone. Let it become less and less dense, more and more electrical. Lighter and lighter. Feel the lightness in your body until everything begins to dissipate like a mist, except for one dot of red energy that seems to remain down in the region of the tailbone. Allow that dot to remain there for now, but be aware that it exists. We will now allow our arms to disappear completely. Feel the reality of white light moving through the fingertips, through the hands. Feel it moving between the spaces, between the cells. Feel the light moving through, making things oscillate faster, making things grow less dense. Slow the breathing as you do this. Begin to feel the whole body metabolic rate begin to slow down. It is going into a different cycle. It's going into a cycle of soul perception, which will allow you to see things that aren't available to the three-dimensional conscious mind. Nice slow breath. And feel the invisibility of the body parts you've made vanish. You still have your head remaining, and it's time to let that go too. Imagine light coming from all directions, from the outside into your head, into the skin, into the skull, into the brain. Feel it moving between the cells, spreading them apart, making them less dense, lighter and lighter. Let yourself get a little lightheaded if you need, that's fine. You'll come back. Take a sigh of relief. Right now, you don't have a body pattern to deal with. Right now, you are pure consciousness. And from this state, you're now prepared to view, to take an aerial view on the process by which you entered your current manifestation. For every one of us has a process and a purpose for doing so. You are consciousness now. And the only thing in your reality field and in your hologram right now is the red dot that you allowed to remain when you made the rest of your body disappear. Focus your attention for a moment and breathe gently and slow. Focus your attention within the red dot. And in there, imagine the image of a three-dimensional Merkaba star, the six-pointed Star of David, but in three-dimensional form, which gives it two extra points that pull out to give it dimensionality. So it's truly an eight-pointed star. When it's flat, you don't see the two hidden points that would be at the center. Imagine a three-dimensional Merkaba star in the red dot that's connected to the base of your spine. Imagine it begin to spin. Let it spin slowly in rhythm with your slow breath. Slowness is the key here. For through slowness of focus and slowing of breath, you will be able to begin communicating with the portions of yourself that compose your body consciousness. You will begin to move into alpha brainwave pattern, and even deeper if you like. This is the place where you communicate with your body. And though your body is invisible now, what remains is its original imprinting form, the first 8 cells that form around the original Merkaba that you came in to manifestation on in the fetal integration process. Now, let the image of the Merkaba star disappear and see just the red dot with 8 points moving around at will in whatever organization they choose. You're going to use your consciousness now to harness these and to bring them into a central point in the center of the red dot. You're going to bring them into the center so you can begin to create a focus for reading them. Within that center point of the red star lives the secrets of how you got here. And if you can remember how you got here, you'll remember why. Move your attention into the center dot and let it become a color. It will tell you what color it wants to be, and this will tell you what frequency you need to use. The color is frequency. Whatever color appears is the color of the consolidated 8 points that made a dot in the center of the red dot. Whatever color that center dot becomes, that is your key frequency for accessing your fetal integration memory. Once you've received your key color, your key frequency, you're going to call to image again within your space that is now just mind, the image of the body. And you're going to remember what it feels like having it sit on the chair. Because now we need to use the frequency that we were given, the color capstone frequency, to open up the Kundalini spiral just enough to allow us to see and feel what our birth experience was about. So we will position a small dot, the color that we were given, within the center dot in the last part of the meditation. Take that frequency and place it directly at the place where the last vertebrae hooks on to the tailbone. And in that space, we will begin to make a band. Use the dot of color as the fixed point, and then from that dot of color, stretch a line or a cord of light, the same color, around and around and around that area of the base of the spine, until you build up a nice ring of frequency that's at least a 1/4 inch thick, where it looks like a fuzzy ring of light around the base of the spine. Now, you're going to begin moving backward from where you are right now in the room. You're going to simply move backward by counting by tens. but starting with 50 or 60, depending on how old you are. Start with the nearest number that ends with 0 to your actual physical age. And they will count backwards. I'll start with 80 just in case there's anybody here that's made it that far. Start with 80 and breathe. We'll take another step back to 70 and breathe to 60. Breathe slowly to 50. I won't rush this. To 40. To 30. To 20. Stop there for one moment and see if you can call to mind any feeling, image, or memory from the age of 20 years. It doesn't matter what memory. Just see if you can find yourself in your timeline there. Once you've located a memory imprint, then we can go backward again to age 10. Try to feel within your body the living image of the child you were at 10 years old. Remember the length of his hair or her hair. Remember if he was short or tall, fat or thin. Take yourself back to the age of 10 momentarily. And if that child was a sad child, send her love now. Send her love now. And let her know she will be okay. There's no judgment here at all. To access your fetal integration imprint, you must call on the assistance of the inner child. For the inner child is closest to remembering. You found yourself around the age of 10. Try to take it back a step further, and this time to the age of 5. Try to remember your first experience, perhaps in a preschool or a kindergarten class. Any little memory of experience will begin to run the line of energy that takes you into that memory imprint. Try to maybe imagine yourself holding your pencil and trying to learn to write, or being scared walking into the classroom the first time. Embrace that 5-year-old child of yourself. Reassure it a bit if it feels insecure. Now, you're going to move back a little bit further. You're going to move back to a period of between 16 and 18 months old, which is an interesting period in development of babies. For some of them are beginning the walking phase and some aren't. Some feel the get up and go. Some prefer the crawl phase. Some just like to sit there and hang out. And you were one of those once. And somewhere in your cellular memory right now lives a full imprint of a memory moment that is alive in its own space-time right now, when you were and are right now that baby. Try to feel yourself either lying or sitting in a baby form. Try to remember the feeling of a diaper or something beneath your bottom. Try to feel how your hands didn't quite seem to be connected to you. They seemed to be something from the outside environment that you found fascinating because you could make it stay before you to study. Try to feel the reality now of the baby body that a part of you right now in this moment is stationed within and always will be. And it's of when we were very, very small and the light spoke to us in direct cognition. Try to take yourself back to a time when you were very small. It could be 16 months, it could be less than that. Take yourself back to a year. Try to imagine and remember the part of you that felt light coming from outdoors or because you were taken outdoors. Your first memory of being touched by light from the sun. Somewhere it's in there. For a moment you can move your consciousness gently through your whole body pattern. Just to see if you can get a stop point where it kind of hangs up in one part of your body. Because that's probably where the memory of the light registered. So scan for a moment, running your consciousness just in a little spiral down through your whole body. Cross the arms, do it in a horizontal way. Cross the arms, down, down. Somewhere in there, that baby remembers when the light spoke. I find it down in my left hip when I look for that memory, but it'll be in a different place for everyone. Once you find an area that the memory seems connected to, put your attention there. And imagine you can go into microvision and go deep, deep, deep into the cells and into their holographic program. And the first thing you'll want to pick up is not a picture or an image or words. It is a feeling. And as soon as you move your consciousness into that area of the body where the first light memory is stored, you should feel a little shudder just kind of burst out of the body. You may need to work with this technique to have that happen, but it usually happens very quickly. If you can find the memory of the first touch of sunlight upon your baby body, there's a little jump, because that's what the baby body felt when the sun began to speak to it through the DNA. Other light spectra don't affect baby bodies like the solar spectra does. The solar spectra is perceived very much as a living presence, a reminder of the places that the baby consciousness used to be. Through the solar light spectra, babies communicate with the rest of themselves that haven't been able to integrate yet. And somewhere in everyone, there's the imprint of that communication. After we feel a little zap of the spark releasing from the first light memory, we're going to go to a very different place. And this is going to be a place of velvet blue-black darkness. We're going to imagine again that we're at the base of the spine, and that there's a little black hole there, right where the tailbone hooks onto the spine. A little black hole. That's the hole that we moved our consciousness through to get into the first 8 cells. Focus on the black hole and perceive it as if you're standing on this side looking at it over there, as if it was a doorway you're contemplating walking through. And all you see on the other side of the doorway is this blue-black velvet. At this point, you're getting ready to reverse the process your consciousness went through when it came into fetal integration. You're getting ready to move yourself through what's called a dyadic point and out into the 4th dimensional fields. Now we can astral project into the 4th dimensional fields, but it's very different than doing it through the dyadic point through which we entered fetal integration. For when we remove ourselves from all of the patterns that this body had carried since that point, we get back to who we were right before we came. We get back to the point before our creation this time. And from that point, we knew why we came. We knew who we were connected to. Every one of us had a team of helpers to help us get in. So we're going to look at this doorway, a little circular doorway that you can go through and into the blue-black area behind. And realize, before we go through, we're crossing a threshold. A threshold that once it's crossed, it will begin to change how you feel and how you think, because you will begin to remember things. So make a decision if you really want to remember and you really want the cellular memory to begin to activate. Because by reversing the birthing process, you will do just that. You will begin to set in motion the process of opening the cellular memory banks for this lifetime. So now, those of you who want to cross kin and those who would rather stay and think about it a while, you may just hang out here and breathe gently. Imagine yourself as a spark of white light. Inhale and exhale, and as you exhale, push yourself through the boundary. Push yourself through the doorway of the dyadic point through which you entered fetal integration. Just feel the reality of the frequency for a moment. For one of the first things you should be able to sense is a modulation area, like we felt before in a room scan, and a set of faster moving and slower moving frequency bands. You are sensing the first polarity that you knew in coming into this body. What we're going to do from here is we are going to travel upward through the etheric blue spiral. It's a blue spiral of fifth dimensional frequency combined with fourth, that combines with third dimensional frequencies down at the base. And it comes into connection with the seventh chakra that allows the full consciousness to spiral downward from the higher dimensional fields into the body and into the dyadic point, so you can merge and phase lock into the body consciousness. So what you'll perceive now as you pass through the door of the dyadic point, look up in your mind's eye and see what looks like a little tornado, and you're at the base, the skinny point. And way up above, the mouth of it opens into a reality field that you can't see from here. Take your little spark of consciousness and begin moving it upward through the rings of the spiral. Upward. And as you move upward, feel the feeling of the frequency increasing, where you're moving your consciousness into a higher dimensional space. At the top of the spiral, notice that there is a plane that extends out on a horizontal level. It seems to go on endlessly. Kind of like a blue-black translucent plane within a blue-black field of energy. And you can see this spiral of energy now as more of a bluish-gray spiral that moves downward to dimensions below. When you came into body, to get here from the fourth dimension, you had to spiral down that spiral. And everywhere in everybody's integration imprint, there's a little bit of a quickening around the heart chakra area. That when you start to redo what you did to get here and move yourself into that spiral, you get a little scared, like a free fall feeling, like jumping off a cliff with a bungee rope. Imagine yourself standing on this plane of energy and looking down into this vortex that you know you have to jump into. And also imagine yourself now looking around at the other people who are standing here. They may look like people, or they may look like light forms or little dots of light. But they are the family and friends that you left behind to come on this journey into this incarnation. And before you leap down and go through this spiral, I want you to try to feel the reality of their presence. For many of them are still with you. Imagine you know now that you're going on a journey, And these are people that loved you very much and that you love too. And some of them have agreed to meet you here, and others you know you won't see for a time. Some of you will feel a sense of joy and excitement about your new endeavor. Others of you will feel a sense of sadness of separation, but in knowing that it needed to be done. Try to allow the feelings of the separation, your original separation anxiety from your higher parts and your higher family. Try to feel this reality as your field begins to pull apart from their fields. Imagine yourself now as a spark of light, slowly moving over to the center of the spiral that goes down, but not moving down yet, just hanging there. Looking back at the edge of the platform and seeing the beings that you're leaving behind standing around you. Try to feel your original emotional imprint that you came into this body pattern having. For that point of departure, whatever you felt at that point of departure will have come with you as one of the first emotional imprints that has imprinted the fetal body. And that will have built within the life pattern in this life. If you felt abandoned when you began to make your separation from your family of light, perhaps they insisted that you go because they knew it was best for you, but you really didn't want to, and they pushed you away on purpose. You may feel a sense of abandonment, and if you did, you will bring it with you, and you will repeat the pattern here. So this is one of the places that need to be healed. If you felt a sense of terror, knowing you were entering a level of consciousness that had to do with beings that were not as aware as the ones you were used to, particularly as Orpheum, knowing you were coming into a reality field, that people could be very harsh within, and that people had forgotten to love each other within. It could have been a very terrifying first emotional reaction to the fetal integration process. And if it is, you'll feel it around the back of the shoulders. You'll feel it around the 6th and 7th Kathara spheres, or Kathara centers in the Kathara grid, around the heart chakra, in the back, in the will center. You'll begin to feel it resonating and making it jumpy. And you may want to scream, because some people really want to scream because they really don't like the terror that they know they're going to engage in when they get down here and find themselves separate again. That is another part of the imprint we are going to heal. But first it must be acknowledged. The terror of separating from that which was most beautiful and loved to us, our eternal selves and our eternal family. We're coming in. We're coming in and alone. We're going to think we're alone here. It is a frightening feeling. Allow the fear to be with you. Just for a moment, but enough to feel it, for it needs to release from your core emotional body imprint. If you want to be free and reclaim your power and your eternal self and your family, let it move through you. And if you feel it coming up, it will probably come up around the heart chakra and also down around the waist area and maybe in the back of the head. Wherever you feel it coming up, take your hand, your right hand, and begin to just simply wipe it out of the field. Move it away from you and make it dissipate within the field. Push it away a bit. Wherever it is feeling the fear or the hurt or the sense of scaredness of entering that spiral, move it out in the field and know that your higher levels of self will clear this field. The idea is to get it away from the body. You are beginning to break up core miasmic patterns. Core patterns that were set at fetal integration. You may feel it tingle all the way down your arms. Clear the arms. Just move it away from you. And let this be part of the burden released. That is the first part of the burden to release. There's another part that is even more traumatic. But when it heals, the light that comes is even more joyful. And that is the part of the free fall when you have finally entered the spiral and you temporarily have lost complete control. You had agreed to come. Once the agreement was made, and your consciousness gets phase locked into the incoming current into the body, temporarily you feel a total stripping of your power and a total stripping of your will. You can't change your mind at this point. Many people react at this point with utter rebellion. They utterly refuse to be in the body anyway, and they fight it, they fight it, they fight it. They will keep themselves disengaged if they possibly can and hang out in the astral field rather than integrate into the physical body structure. They will make sure that the body doesn't get them. People who have this experience coming into fetal integration will try most of their lifetime to keep themselves separate from their bodies. Their bodies will seem very much like an entity unto themselves. They will feel they have very little control over what the body does inside itself. And they will also feel resentment toward the body. They will feel a hatred toward the body because they are perceiving the body as a captor. And in a way, it definitely is, with the gene codes malfunctioning. So there's an imprint in all of us that has a bit of rebellion against entering the body pattern. And when that is imprinted into the body pattern, it becomes a core pattern of self-loathing, of hating oneself because you are in body, and of hating the body because of the perceived limitations that it means. As perceiving the body as what stands between you and your eternal self, this horrible matter substance that you are becoming imprisoned within, a slave to. So many, many people end up with self-destruct, impulsing, coming from the core level of fetal integration because they're in a very big hurry to get home. And they know it's not proper as they grow up to destroy their body, and they're taught it's wrong. So they find other ways to slowly sabotage their body and make sure it dies as fast as they can because they want freedom. There's a fetal imprint in all of us that knows we lost freedom in coming into the body. And if we are going to transmute the body to a higher level and take it to freedom with us, first we must forgive it. And we must stop fighting it and treating it like it is something that is our taskmaster. We must realize the body is in pain too, for it is cut off from its higher parts. And part of that body that you're going to react to is a part that was given to it by each of your parents and their family lines. You will inherit the portions of unresolved conflict that your parents had within themselves. And it will feel awful. You'll feel as you begin to move your little dot of energy down into the spiral of fetal integration. Feel yourself moving downward, and all of a sudden you hit a level that just runs through your shoulders and through your astral body, and you just want to run like heck anywhere. You're starting to pick up on the pattern of mom and dad and what brought them together, which always implies its opposite. There are conflicts unresolved. There are issues unresolved. You're hitting their karmic pattern. And you're knowing that now your consciousness is going to get entangled not only within your own stuff, but you are going to take on part of the imprint of each of your parents. And it can feel like a very horrible feeling. It can burn in the third chakra area, where you feel a complete feeling of your power being stripped from you. Because now the karmic pattern is taking over you, and you're losing your purity. You feel like you're being robbed of your innocence and your purity. There's an anger there, but it can't be expressed. Many people wish the process of fetal integration was joyful. But once upon a time it was. We will go to that time before we finish this clearing. But right now we need to clear these imprints out of the emotional body imprint. Move down a little bit more as the white spark of light into the spiral. You are getting very close now. You are getting very close now to the dyadic point where you will enter the first stage cells and where you will spiral through the 7th chakra all the way through into the body pattern. At this point, you've hit your trauma phases, your anger, your resentment, your resistance, your disgust, your terror, and your horrible, horrible sense of growing homesickness. You go to a space just before you hit integration of acceptance, where you release and you just let go. It is a point where your eternal self sends you a little burst of energy to help you get into the body, but also to let you know that you are and will be all right. Try to focus on your consciousness as a little spark right at the tip, the little tiny tip of the spiral that brings you into the dyadic point. And right there, imagine yourself getting zapped with some energy. Make it whatever color spectrum is most comfortable from your eternal self, reassuring you, giving you extra support and energy. You will be okay when you enter this process. Feel that self that had gotten all tied up in the emotion and in the fear. Feel it begin to relax in the knowing that yes, it will be all right, and it is sustained always. The eternal self will never ever leave its side. When it's time to fully stretch out into the body, there will be a feeling more so of acceptance. That communication from the eternal self for some will be enough to restore your joy. Oh yeah, this could be neat. Yeah, I've done this before. Okay, I'm not going to get so upset about it. These are the babies that come out bouncy. They come out with cheerfulness bouncing all over them. They smile a lot. They sleep well. They're just the little angels from heaven that are totally at peace with their being in a body. Others are still trying to recuperate from the emotional trauma of separation and from the terror of what they're getting themselves into. They're a little more withdrawn about the whole process. And you'll fit into this. You'll be one or the other or the third kind. You may feel yourself a little withdrawn. You became the observer. When you entered the baby body, you decided you'd observe this thing, but you weren't going to let it get you fully. You're not going to go into terror. You're not even going to go into resistance, but you're not going to quite fully let it get you. So you're going to stand back from the emotional body, and you're going to detach, and you will carry that imprint of fetal integration with you through your whole posture, through your whole life, until you release it. And then there's the third type of reaction, where even after you get the support message from your eternal self, you don't care. You still don't like the idea. Whatever agreement you got yourself into, you want out of. I'm sorry I made it. I must have been crazy. I don't want to do this again. I should have known better. But you're phase locking into a body pattern. These are the babies that sometimes don't make it into delivery. These are the babies that sometimes have horrible, horrible deformities in the last 2 trimesters of development because they're literally trying to pull themselves out of body while the body's trying to pull them in. And it messes up the whole biofield system. Some of them aren't so noticeable as physical defects. They instead become patterns of disharmonics within the subtle body systems. And most people carry that because most people come through with that aversion imprint in this time frame. So you'll find a part of yourself that came in and just said, yuck, I won't play. It decides to make a mask. Fine, if it has to be alive, I will give it a personality. But I refuse to associate with it other than that. It is not me. When a stance like this is taken, there's a level of detachment that goes far beyond the observer. It goes into the refuser to feeler. It goes into a type of consciousness orientation in the body that can create 2 types of things. It can create a life posture of not being able to connect with anything or anyone deeply because it just hurts too much, so you just refuse to do it. And of course, the fact that you can't connect here only amplifies that original imprint of being so devastated and feeling so homesick for those you loved. So people like that can live in very quiet misery, feeling their own lack of ability to connect. Some of them will even know that they did it. Yet down here, things are scary, people are screwed up, they're not as trustworthy as they are in the higher places, so how can you open yourself? These are the imprints that grow out of these fetal imprints, where we're afraid to connect with each other, afraid to connect with ourselves and our world. Others who built up a lot of emotional energy behind this imprint start to short-circuit their own neurological structure. And it can go anywhere from chemical imbalances into pure psychosis. The people that can run around and do horrible things to other people and feel utterly no remorse. Some people are capable of that on their own. Others have help from astral field possession. But you don't need astral field possession to become an emotional monster who is not able to feel. What you need is a very, very deep terror at the birth imprint. That any good and lovingness and joy that you had felt, and any goodness you had felt to those you were connected to on the other side, becomes turned inside out and convoluted and perverted into something that comes out as hostility with no focus at all. Everybody carries some of these pains. So when we look at mass murderers, psycho killers, rapists, all these people that do horrible things, perhaps we can look at them with a little more compassion if we realize that they have a horrendous birth imprint in there that's really torturing them, and so they torture other people. It can develop compassion in us. For if we can develop compassion toward others with this, we will start to develop compassion for ourselves. If you look back through your life as you're sitting there as a spark of light, just ready to the final drop into full fetal integration, and you're getting a chance to review what's going to be and who you're going to become and what you're going to do, like you know now what you've done. I want you to look at yourself with total and utter forgiveness and total and utter compassion. Because whatever it is you've done came out of places that were far beyond here. And you can't place blame on them here. Whatever you did here was a manifestation of the original imprints you brought in. Some of them will be from here, from this birth imprint. Others will be from incarnational imprinting, which we'll deal with at another time. We're going to finish the little journey back into the body now, into the fetal body. We're going to see ourselves as a little spark of light hanging at the end of that spiral of energy. And the black hole is now beneath us, and we're going to drop ourselves into the dyadic point. See a nice slow free fall, like everything is going in slow motion as your consciousness enters in a state of acceptance. When it moves through the dyadic point, all of a sudden there's a burst of energy felt all around your consciousness. And many colors flash very quickly. Nothing makes sense. It's a blur for a moment. And then a sensation of pulling starts to pull from the top of your little spark of light. And it's pulling you up and stretching you out as if you were made of taffy. You're beginning to feel consciousness spreading into the cellular code, into the molecules, into the infant fetal pattern. And there's a feel to this as you impress each cell with your new consciousness and your new pattern. And you begin to know the pieces of your parents that will now become pieces of you. It's a get acquainted time in the fetal integration process. If there have been karmic issues with your parents that are carried in their fields and in yours, you will find other points of blockage here. But they can be cleared with karmic release exercise. This time we're just releasing from the fetal integration for this lifetime. as we stretch out in the baby body, we're going to go into a nurturing phase. Because no matter how lousy our parents might have been, or how great they might have been, or how scared we were when we came in, there's one thing that's consistent. At least for a time, we were surrounded by total nurturing, even if our parents weren't nurturing people. The universe sends through a mother's body currents of energy that come up from the earth, where the portion of the earth joins with the mother. Even if she's not capable of sending the right vibrations to the child, the earth is. That vibration is carried within the amniotic fluid and with the fluid surrounding the baby body. So for a moment, try to imagine yourself as a tiny fetal pattern or a bigger baby pattern within the sac. Feel the safety of the sac around you. It's like a sac of silver energy. And it has cool fluid. The fluid feels just a little cool compared to what you feel inside. It's really very warm, but you are very hot. Feel the safety of the amniotic fluid and the amniotic bag around you. That is your little world for right now. And that is your place where you can gain some stability when you move into the fetal integration process. This is a place for fetal healing. Try now to separate the vibrations, the feeling between the earth mother vibration coming up through the telluric realm into the amniotic fluid, right through the components of its molecular structure surrounding you. That would be the higher frequency vibration surrounding you and nurturing you with love. And then become aware of the other vibration that's of a bit lower frequency, that's the part of your mother pattern that is not assimilated yet, your mother's shadow. And that is the part that feels uncomfortable. And it is usually the shadow that we most remember and carry with us as we move through into birthing. What we're going to do this time is reprogram for a moment the fetal memory, where we're going to start to feel, instead, forget Mom the biology, let's go to Mom the earth. Try now to hold two focuses, one of yourself in the amniotic sac and the other of the earth core. Now bring the two together where you picture the amniotic sac and the baby body within it, moving to the core of the earth and being surrounded by silver light. Feel the earth mother as your womb, for this will help you to transcend any issues or harms that have come through the relationship with your birth mother here. The mother of all of us is the earth mother, and that is a loving mother. Just breathe in as a little tiny baby body and try to feel what stage you're at right now, because this will give you a clue as to when you got fixated with some of the pain patterns. If you're picturing yourself little tiny and small, it was very early. If you're picturing yourself as a whole-grown baby with fingernails and eyelids and everything, then you were close, very close to the time when you were going to come out. It'll be different for everybody. By getting a visual or an impression of the size of the baby body, it will give you a very strong clue as the age of the fetus in which you integrated. It will give you your fetal integration time frame. Some people do not integrate until after the baby body has passed out of the mother's womb. There are literally babies born without souls integrated. They have about 36 hours before the vibration of the tissue of the baby drops so they can't integrate anymore. They hang out in the astral field. The souls hang out in the astral field, making up a decision whether or not they're going to do it. You may have been one of those. If you can find how you came in, start to get in touch with it. You'll know, possibly by the process of elimination. Well, did I come in later? My first impression was like, blurry, bright lights in a hospital setting? Or do I first remember the feeling, the rhythm of a heartbeat? Do I remember hanging out in there a long time? You have these memories, and it's time to reclaim them. And now that they've been stimulated and stirred up within your auric fields and within your kundalini spirals, you will start, as you move through your days, to get bits and more of this memory coming through, but only when it's right. It's not going to happen to you in the middle of work where you end up a crying mess on the floor. Your soul and your higher parts and your eternal self will regulate it for you. But what needs to be cleared here, your eternal self will help you to begin clearing, and it will help to show you how you can help clear it. You've made a tremendous leap simply by releasing this imprint right now. Right now, each of you are carrying within your fields the original spark of entry. And in each of your fields, in the fourth dimensional level, you can see an imprint, an overlay of the time frame, the time vector when you did indeed integrate. It is with you now and it is active in your field. You can pull memory from this whenever you command yourself to do so. If you haven't allowed yourself to remember too much in this room, it's because you're still resisting connecting. You're still resisting feeling, particularly in a group of people. You'll want to go home and do it there. Ask for the release there, where you feel more safe. And when you ask for the release of the core trauma of fetal integration, remember to place yourself inside the amniotic sac, inside the true mother of the earth core, who is totally non-judgmental and filled with unconditional love. You will heal by allowing that energy to run through you. You will not heal by holding on to the trapped pain and terror. And you can also, now that you've opened these channels, ask your higher parts to allow you to know who that family was that you left standing on the edge when you jumped into the spiral to take you in. Ask them to let you know who they are, and if there is a name that you can use of any one of them that's willing to communicate with you still and know. There will be one for everyone. Excuse me. We're going to lighten it up now. There's been a lot of emotional energy popping out in the room here. I can feel it up here on the stage. We're going to do a slight transmission of energy, which if you can visualize it, it will help you to feel it. It's going to be transmitted through my field, through the heart chakra, and through all the lower chakras as well. It's going to be like a crystalline rain that comes through the whole room from the top down. It's a frequency of silver white light, D11, D12 light. It's going to come down and it's going to start to wash away all this stuff you just released, except for your access points, so you can go back and retrieve what you need to next. Any of the gook in your auric field now that you released from that miasmic imprint of the fetal integration process. I want you to breathe slow. Just inhale and exhale. Several slow, deep breaths, very conscious breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Push on the exhale. You're getting rid of energy you don't want now. Yes, let it go. And as you push it out, see that silver white, crystalline rain-type energy coming down through your field. And feel it calming all that part of you, that little part of you, the baby body that had hurt. Imagine the baby going into a peaceful sleep now. Imagine yourself sleeping at the age of 5, a peaceful child at the age of 5, totally happy, for it is in a dream where the angels are embracing it, where the higher portions of identity are there and talking. Now imagine yourself asleep at the age of 10. The age of 10, and again you were dreaming, and now the higher portions of self and the family you left behind are talking with you again in the dream state. So imagine yourself as a little child and see yourself from the outside smiling in your sleep, because you're making contact. Contact that has always been there, but that you forgot. Now bring yourself back to the age of 20. You're more mature now. The perceptions have changed a bit. And at the age of 20, begin to feel with you the presence of yourself as an over-self. Your own over-self, that's you, the rest of you, that's going to embody. And that over-self remembers the family, and the family is very accessible there. From now on, you walk through life knowing, in the age of 20, you walk through life knowing you have a double right with you. It's not your anti-particle double. This is a part of you that is meant to lead you home, to lead you through, and to lead you up into the next level of evolution. And I want you to come back, count up kind of quickly, from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, and stop wherever you are to 70 to 80. Bring yourself back to now. And try to get a feel for what you feel like now, compared to what you felt like before you started this long journey. And we'll take a little bit of a break so we can get back oriented into our now space. And then we're going to spend some time talking about what we experienced. Thank you.